What up, y'all? Welcome to the Real Housewives weekly review. Normally we do this weekly review. We weren't here last week. I was sick, y'all. I know it's been going around or what, but that oregano oil helped me in 24 hours. I was a whole new person. Let me tell you something. Ginger ale and saltines with oregano oil, 24 hours, you're good. Get some lemon water, drink it the next morning. You're good. We got Courtney Stewart in the building. What up, Bo?
Hey.
Hey. What's happening?
Surviving over here, making it through.
Okay, I'm liking the ode to we got an ode to Janet with the key kid earring.
Oh, that's yes. Which one? Yeah, this one. Every once in a while, I'm in the mood.
Okay, I'm into it. And you and Daryl were at the Golden Globes last week, but we'll talk about that Thursday with Daryl, so you guys can give us a nice full recap on that. But let's get into Housewives, because last week I wanted to talk about Housewives truly, just to be done, because Lord.
Well, definitely with one of them. Ugh.
Yes, and let's just jump right into it. Salt Lake City, because Potomac. But we'll get to that. Salt Lake City, let's just jump into it. All right, this was the final episode. We're skipping this coming week, and then we'll be back with the reunion, which the only thing I'm seeing that they're promoting at the reunion is Andy asking Heather about this damn black eye. And it's like,
who cares? Nobody cares anymore.
At this point, we better get I want every D-list character that we had on the show, bring them in. Even Meredith's monotone daughter, bring her in for question. I want them all in for questioning, because what is this show? We need a serious recast.
It's terrible. And I'm so sad, because I was such a Heather fan. Heather and Mary Cosby were my peeps, and now I don't care. Obviously, Mary's gone, and Heather can be gone, because that whole thing was so absurd and stupid and embarrassing.
And someone who should be embarrassed but clearly wasn't is Jen Shah. Last week she got sentenced to 6.5 years. Was it last week or the week before? It was on a Friday. Was it?
It was. It's been, yeah.
Because we were going to talk about it. She got 6.5 years. Ridiculous, low key. I just think the minimum should have been a year for 10. Each person. 10. Sorry. And then the fact that she went on. You said what?
I said it was more than 10 people, though, so she would have been in jail forever.
Well, and the fact that she went online and posted dress rehearsal, ma'am.
She's the worst of the worst of the worst.
But here's my thing: is it because she is the energy on Salt Lake that makes it spicy, that she's not getting the backlash that Erika Jayne got? Because low-key, Erika Jayne is, the amount of dragging Erika got, and Erika genuinely wasn't involved in the actual scamming. So I think it's interesting that it's not, that the media kind of isn't. I mean, everyone's saying it's bad. Andy was on some, I don't remember what the guy was, but he was basically, him and Andy must be friends, but it was a Larry King kind of guy. I don't know. It was a Fox News guys or something. And he was basically going in on Andy, saying the highlight reel for your show is grown women throwing glass on them. He's like, well, you're not showing all the parts. He was like, we literally just pulled the pieces from the commercials. And it's Andy, just admit what your show is. It's messy. It's okay. That's what it is. We like it because it's messy. And, we in our own lives can't put that on Andy. We have to decide when we're old enough to be you know what, we're done with this. And Salt Lake, I unfortunately, I had high hopes this season. I really did. We rewind. But you let me down.
But in response to why people came for Erika Jayne so much and not for Jen Shah the same way, I personally think is because Jen Shah comes off as the crazy person with emotions. Her son, her family, Coach Shah seemed like he was probably a normal, kind husband. she had what seemed to be like redeemable, relatable qualities as a human. Erica Jane was basically an archetype of the blonde gold digger that found an old man to marry and just lived off his money and didn't care about anybody or anything, just because she was, even once everything came out, she was very cold about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that she gave no emotion about it, even though we know Jen Shah's emotion was clearly like manipulative and bullshit and a hot mess, and maybe also a part of her because maybe she really has some kind of like narcissistic disease disorder.
Does.
But that being said, she still showed some kind of emotion, and at moments like the things that were happening were upsetting her. Erica Jane just was like a cold-blooded bitch, like, fuck what you heard, fuck all of y'all, I don't care. I'm gonna wear my diamonds and I'm not giving up my shit and whatever. So I think people just could feel some relatability to Jen Shah that they couldn't with Erica Jane.
Okay, I could see that. Interesting. Very interesting. And, you know, this episode, we hear the girls kind of allude that Coach Shah might have been involved in this, and it was interesting because they kind of made a comment, they didn't say this, that, you know, him being a black man, basically Jen taking the hit. Did you remember that scene? I think it was Heather and I can't remember who else it was. But they didn't say that he was a black man, but they were alluding to the fact that he basically coached Jen on what to do. They didn't say, it was like could you imagine if they basically said like, imagine if, like, to kind of put it out there. It was a weird comment. I don't know if you guys are listening or watching the show and you remember that scene. Leave a comment down below. I just thought that was very interesting. And Heather's ride or die-ness for Jen is also interesting. Interesting.
It's weird.
It's weird. But we get the bad Mormon party. Exhausting. Heather keeps joking about the eye situation. Her cousins show up. This party is also on Greek Easter, which I'm just like, Angie, you continuously shame Greeks because, like, the fact that Easter is like the holiday for Greeks. Like, Christmas, yes, but Easter is it. Like, girl, why are you not with your family? Like, why are you here doing this? You're supposed to be
she wants to be on TV.
Girl, you supposed to, right. Well, what about Jesus? All right, you over here. What about Jesus?
Lord.
And not only that, but if you're supposed to have the Lord in you and you over here upset with Jen because there's some rumor saying that Angie is the one that punched Heather. Girl, you know you didn't do that. You know you didn't do that. So, like, why are you playing in the devil's den? Like,
there's no rumor. Nobody cares. Like, everybody knows what actually happened and everybody's playing this stupid game.
Right. Like, girl, not you lying on Greek Easter. Then we got Chris and Angie, and they talked to Jen and Coach Shah. Hated every moment of this.
The worst. Why did they air this? Like, why did this happen?
Oh, I mean, I definitely understand why they aired it. I mean, like, if I was the camera crew, if I was at this show, this would have been the moment. I would have been like, oh my God, they're going to go talk to each other. But it feels like they already had a conversation. It feels like Coach Shah said to Jen, look, we just going to do this. You know what the lawyer said? You got to look good on camera, because Jen looked like she was behaving next to him. Like, anything you say, Coach Daddy. But hated that whole thing.
Daddy. And it was not like, because they still didn't really apologize.
No.
Like, it was just stupid.
It was like an I'm sorry and a hug and like, what is happening?
Oh, but we love each other. We love each other. It's fine. Do you think they actually cashed the checks that they gave to whatchamacallit?
1,000,000%. They cashed that the next day. The next day. Angie went to that bank and deposited that.
Sure? I would imagine that the money wasn't even available.
I feel like we would have heard about that. I feel like that would have been on Twitter somewhere if that check bounced. We got the Amazing Grace Choir, which I'm just like, I thought y'all were doing lessons. It sounds the same. They did
was great. It was
they did a reveal for her book cover, which was, I mean, go girl. Shout out for you for doing a book. You know what I mean? Anyone that puts the work in and, you know, completes a project like that, shout out to you. The cover was giving meh. Also, like, usually at a book thing like this, you would read a passage or something so we could get like a tone for the book, or, you know, when the girls were like, oh, do we get copies? I'm like, no, girl, go buy the book. But she definitely should have did some sort of like little like a video or a reading.
We should have a story from the book, at least one. Like, read a couple pages and, you know, give us a vibe.
You know what it reminded me of is, I don't remember who it was on Love and Hip Hop, like at the peak. And remember they went to her book reading and she read that one little pass. I don't remember who it was, so I'm not even gonna try. It wasn't even like a main person. It was someone that was like a season or two. Then we get Whitney, who just, again, the emotions, I'm like dreading her at the reunion. Dreading everything Whitney is going to, because you know we're going to get, it'll be the end of the second, no, it won't be the end of the second. It'll be like the middle of this first episode where we'll have a whole segment dedicated to Whitney, and then it'll go into Whitney versus Heather, and then that'll be the cliffhanger into part 2 kind of a thing. And I don't want that segment. I don't. I'm sorry. Like, I want you to figure it out, and maybe next season when you figured it out, you could describe what it was like figuring it out.
Yeah. But like, also the fact that there would even possibly be more than one part to this reunion
exhausting.
Exhausting, because there's literally no material.
Also, I don't know, did you see the clip of Dana walking up to Jen at the party?
Yes, where she goes off and says, who gonna put some money on your books and all of that.
So I'm thinking, and after watching this interview with Andy Cohen, I'm thinking that Jen knew what was going to happen with the court stuff, and Andy was like, all right, we'll clean up everything between this time for you. Because on the interview he did, the guy was like, how are you supporting this? Like, why didn't you kick her off the show the moment like the FBI showed up? And he was like, well, you know, it's really hard. Like, you know, when you get to know someone and like someone, like, you don't want the bad things to happen, which true. But like, you really left this open, and you know you're going to have her come back when she's out of jail. If Housewives is still kicking.
I don't think they'll still Salt Lake, unless some miraculous cast comes. Like, if Housewives are around in 6 years, I don't think Salt Lake will be.
Right. Well, my question is will she have to do a full 6 years?
Yes, I'm pretty sure they said, like, with that federal time, she will likely do, like, the majority of that 6 years for sure.
Well, good girl. We saw Lisa looking at colleges with Jax, Whitney. Oh, then we get the quick wrap up of everyone. I kind of liked how they did this. It said Lisa was looking at colleges with Jack. Whitney is practicing boundaries. Meredith is still taking girl with herself. And Meredith is taking bubble baths. And then we got a 3 months later, and it was Jen and her poor sweet mom.
That broke my heart.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think her mom really thought she was innocent? Because she seemed like she really was believing her. Like, you're innocent, right? Girl.
I do. Because it's like, not even things that I've done, but things that have happened to me in my life. Like, I don't even tell my mom, like, the worst things that have happened to me, because she couldn't even fathom that. So, like, and that's why I wrote her sweet mom, because I genuinely feel like her mom really thinks the best of her. And I think Jen is someone that knows how to lie to the people she cares about, which is why these people chase after her friendship after it's like she's like literally shitting on them, but she knows what to say to make them fall right back in her hands. So if that was your daughter, I can imagine, like, poor thing. So then we get to New York.
her retirement money
I know.
to Jen, and Jen knew she was not innocent. Like,
girl, let me smell my saffron. A mess.
that's a lot. That's a lot.
We get to New York. I understand Heather being there.
Yes.
I think it's really weird. I understand Heather being there, even though there's a slight little bit that's kind of like, well, girl, that's a little hypocritical of you. And then same thing for Meredith. Because I feel like clearly Jen lied to the two of you, unless you secretly knew this whole time. And more so bothered by Meredith, not really Heather, because it's just like, clearly this is your story arc. But like Meredith, it's like Lisa really genuinely wants to try to have a friendship with you.
Mm-hmm.
And like you have no interest in like trying to mend it, meeting up to mend it, but you're going to go to New York to like cheer Jen on. I don't know. It's just...
You don't think, because I mean, part of the reason Lisa and Meredith aren't friends is because she said Meredith was hoeing all over New York. You don't think it's just like an easy excuse for Meredith and her husband to go to New York, do whatever business they have in New York, and support their friend and get more camera time?
No, I can't. As I was saying it too, I'm like, actually, I could see Meredith being like, yeah, girl, I'll just walk down Fifth Ave. It'll be cute. We'll get extra screen time.
Yeah,
so sure.
We'll get a few more dollars like in our tank for our son's fashion line so he can have some more pieces. Like, it's cool.
And that scene I was talking to you about, it was here because it was Heather and Meredith, and they were talking about Coach Shah and how he's her lawyer and support system. And then Heather kind of was like, it's interesting how much he knows. Like, imagine if he was the brains behind it. She like mentioned something like that. I didn't write it down. I should have, but it's also a week. But whatever.
Well, my understanding of that was that she was saying that he was understanding the scope of what was in front of them in terms of the case.
Yes.
Like, because he was literally like, girl, this ain't looking good. So in terms of coaching her through it.
No, yeah, that part.
Speaking of like them coaching her through the decisions that she's making based on him being able to like delineate.
That's how I took it. And then when Heather went off on that, it was like, it wasn't a statement. It was like a what if, kind of like a really random one-line sentence that was just like, oh, interesting. And then they talked about how that nobody was debating that the scam happened. It's just how much is Jen involved. Yeah. And it's like, well, honey, I'm starting to think her and Stewart were just 50-50, you know what I mean?
Yes, and Stewart took that deal to turn her in, so...
Ooh, it's giving Ocean's 8 with Sandra Bullock. Remember that? Then July 11th, she pleaded guilty and got sentenced 6.5 years. Oh, no, she pleaded guilty, and then we find out last week she got sentenced 6.5 years. And then Lisa and Heather... when they get back from New York, Lisa and Heather meet up, and they were kind of worried. And I'm just kidding. That one sentence was here. Look what I'm saying to myself. Lisa and Heather were sitting there, and they both were kind of upset that Jen pleaded guilty because they felt like it looked weird on them. And then that's when Heather said, I think Coach Shah knew and put Jen up for slaughter. Oh, I wrote the whole thing right there. There we go. That's what Heather said. And that's interesting to me, to use the word slaughter. And I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. But that was it. And then we'll get the reunion January 25th, and exhausting. Genuinely exhausting.
It's exhausting and unfortunate, and such a piss poor representation of humanity in America.
or maybe an exact representation of Utah.
I hope not.
I don't know. I had one experience in Utah, and it was scary. So and it was nothing like any of the. It was probably I probably was in the town where Mary Crosby's church was. That's probably where we were, just pulled up, not knowing where we were in the middle of nowhere. Real Housewives of Miami. Kind of a slower episode. Lenny confirmed the divorce from last week, or the week before, and the new girl is talking to Page 6, saying she wasn't the reason that they broke up, which I believe.
For sure.
But you were a catalyst, not a catalyst, because that I don't think that was the catalyst. I think you were the what is
you
it
still
called?
opened your legs to married men, and you should have kept them closed because it will make you look good. So
speaking of that, Courtney, I went back and I really watched. Real Housewives of Atlanta is the best housewife show. I'm sorry, it genuinely
100%.
is. Like, I know a lot of people would argue and say like New York or like old New Jersey, like consistently up until like the last
like couple seasons,
2 to 3 seasons, 2 for the most part. But Real Housewives of Atlanta delivered on every level. And I was just watching old clips of Nene, and like even when Claudia came in and like that snake gate, and then all that. Remember that girl Tammy, and then her nephew came, and then Kenya was trying to kick him out the house. Like, it was just so much good stuff with Real Housewives of Atlanta.
And they had multiple good people in Atlanta. Like, we had Phaedra, we had Portia, we had Nene, we had freaking Kenya. Like, in most of the other franchises, it's like one linchpin that like holds the entertainment value in it. Like, it's Teresa in Jersey. New York was Ramona. Like, OC, it was Vicky, like, and a little Tamara. But like, they didn't usually have like a full multiple group of people that bring the fun and the mess and the way that Atlanta did.
Exactly. And I feel like that's why people are loving Potomac right now, because it's kind of giving that, but less authentic. But Real Housewives of Miami. So we get Marisol and Lisa talking, and that's when Lisa says Lenny's not sleeping at the house, and she's just going through all her feelings. I hate to be insensitive with this, but I need something else to kind of happen with this storyline, because like, where are we going? Is it just going to be Lisa sad? Like, I want to see her rebound. I hope we get something of that.
Well, it takes time. I know. It just happens.
We get Alexia's foundation for her son, as she wants him to be more independent. He's so cute. Like, I just love how he is with everybody.
I love.
And we see Marisol and Alexia at dinner. What was this? Oh, and then those guys came up talking about Lisa randomly. So now the girls are concerned for Lisa because it's out in the press now that Lenny and his newfound meat are going around talking. Everyone in Miami is talking about it.
Not meat.
I just think of the tongue, and then I think of Shakira at the Super Bowl when she was like, girl, bye. Gertie was excited to celebrate 20 years of marriage. Boring. I hate how insecure she is. Like, I really do. I hate how it comes across on camera.
See, I don't feel that from those interactions at all.
Really?
I very much feel like it's look, we've been together for a long time, and in those moments, you realize nothing is promised, and you should be paying attention all the time. And it's easy to get lost in I'm working all the time, and I'm away, and I'm doing this, and assuming like nobody will ever have any issue. And that's not to say that her husband would ever step out on her, but him feeling neglected. I think there was great value in showing each of these people, because they had the conversation with Martina and what's her name about and I like that both of them were phrasing it in are there ways or things that I can be doing different that True. I'm just not recognizing? Because I do think, especially in long relationships, you get blind spots and you neglect, and that's how situations become tempting for other people. So I don't see it as, it doesn't feel insecure to me. It feels like a valid moment where somebody close to you had something wild as fuck happen to them, and you're like, hold up, let me make sure my shit is in order,
Right.
because I've been focused on a lot of stuff and maybe I haven't focused as much as, and what you think is going on is not always what the person you in a relationship thinking about is
Right.
going
And
on.
that, again, that's why communication is so important. Like, if you don't know that other person, or like you are get into a situation where like Lisa, like she did not feel comfortable with those parties, like then this isn't your person. You know, maybe it was a cool person to date, but not to have kids with if he's trying to still live this lifestyle. And maybe he lied to you and said, I'm done with it. Then you have the kids, and then he's like, party time, USA. Like, and then you have to be concerned, you know? And I can agree with what you're saying, because I do think, again, it's like you should be checking in with your spouse or your partner and asking them, you know what I mean? Are you good? Is everything good? Like, are we good? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you got to keep that conversation going, especially when you feel comfortable, because that's when, like you said.
But I will say with Lisa and the whole parties and all of that, because that seems to happen actually quite a bit. Women get involved with men doing things in their party phase in life
And
that they're
expecting.
not comfortable doing as a continuation of their life, but the men expect that to still exist. And it could be argued that like that's how you got with him. You shouldn't expect him to change. You should know that that's what he's going to be doing. And if you're not cool with it, you should not get so close. But bitches fall in love and shit and be like, oh well, he'll get older and get tired of that. But he was already old when you met him, so girl.
Right. And trust me, I know. Been there,
Yeah.
done that. You know what I'm
40-year-old
saying? Like,
man who needs to have parties with all the young hoes running around. Like that's
right.
saying something.
And again, there ain't nothing wrong if you want to run around with hoes and have all the parties, knock
Maybe
yourself out.
life, maybe
Not the
wife.
lifestyle. You know what I mean? And some people are like, yeah, that's how I want our relationship to be for the rest of our life. Party in the USA, girl. Party in the USA. Adriana, you are so beautiful. And like, I just really want you to get over your obsession with Larsa, because you are, and you spent all last season talking about this girl's butt, and whether it's fake, real, whatever it is, clearly she doesn't want to talk about it. So you're in this friend group. She's made it very apparent that she doesn't want to say that she got butt shots if she got them. So drop it. So the fact that then you're going getting it, and love that you're open about it. Everyone's not open about it, so, but you spent a whole season like talking about this girl, and you look beautiful. I don't even think you needed the butt shots, to be honest, but hey, knock yourself out, girl. But you have this thing about Larsa, and you know what shocked me when we saw Larsa with her son, her 19-year-old son? I was like, oh my God. Like, Larsa's a whole mom. Like, mom.
4 children, not just one. She's
Right.
got 4 kids.
But I can see her with little kids, but like the 19-year-old threw me for a loop. I was like, that's girl, like, and how old's Michael Jordan's son?
He's in his early 30s, I think.
Okay. All right. Because I was like, I hope he ain't 23 or something. Like,
I'm pretty sure he's early 30s, like 30, 31.
yeah, I do. I think he's 31, actually. Which, fair enough, girl.
I mean, but still a little weird.
Then we got the Julia Martina. They're gonna have another kid. Basically, Martina was like, "Girl, I can't deal with this," and like,
just get a baby, baby. Just get a baby.
like, I don't even want to like. Lars is coming to me telling me you kissed someone. I had to act like I didn't care, or like, who, what? So just, you know what? Get a kid, so I can go to Aspen for the weekends, and I'm just like, what an interesting relationship. But
It is
again,
a very interesting relationship, and I was like, well, on the one hand, obviously we got the story that why can't I think of her name? Julia has always wanted another child, and Martina didn't want one. So she submitted to her other partner. And just listening to them like deal with their relationship, it just really makes you think about these long-term relationships and how just humans in their own nature change over time or don't change over time, or hopes and expectations are different. And I'm just like, dang, you went all these years with Martina. She didn't want another baby. And now that the house is empty, Martina can't even handle you no more because you need to have a baby in your life. It's fascinating to me.
But luckily, Julia found somebody that is willing to compromise that, because
For sure.
again, this could be another situation like Elisa Lenny. Like, it's like, girl, you knew she didn't want that. And now you're breaking this up because you are bored in a house and have very like extreme hobbies. So now you just need something else to do. Like, so, but again, that works great for their relationship. And again, I don't think Martina really knew the kissing thing, but I think that she knew her comfortability with Julia and what their relationship is, and wasn't even gonna blink to it.
No.
Then we get to Alexia's and Frankie's event. And here is where Lisa is on the phone with Lenny, and this man is... I think he called for the bananas and stuff, like, to just get under her skin. He knew she was filming. He knew it was going to piss her off. Because, like, what, bro? Like,
what are you talking
you're
about?
in Miami, Instacart it, like, whatever you need. Like, you... First of all, you've been married to this woman for how long, and you probably are breaking up with her because she doesn't go to the grocery store and get that stuff. So, like, what?
Yeah. I mean, that is what he was trying to say in whatever, was it page 6 that he did a story saying that Lisa was out partying, leaving him by himself at the house with the kids and all this stuff. And I'm just like...
Well, no, he didn't say... Did he say partying, or was it more like going on trips with the girls and then he has to stay and watch the kids? Or...
I'm pretty sure he said it was partying and traveling. Like, she's out and he's the one stuck at home dealing with the children.
And then we get the juice, which was Nicole and Larsa. I mean, it wasn't really juice, but I just felt like more so it was Larsa's way of being like, girl, you tried it last season. So now let me show you what that tastes like. Oh, you don't like it, girl, right? Yeah, I didn't either. That's what I just felt this whole exchange was. And Nicole was like, it was like almost like a Whitney from Salt Lake situation. Like, oh my God. Like, girl, she thought it was the pool, but it was the hot tub.
I wasn't judging. Like, I wasn't doing that.
But you were.
Doing. It was totally what you were doing because you are educated, doctor, and this woman makes money because she got pretty feet. So you weren't judging.
Right.
But Larsa said she never got naked. I wonder if she's gotten naked since then. No.
Look, I mean, at this point, Iggy Azalea got her OnlyFans now. I'm like, all right, let me go get a pedicure, y'all.
I mean,
we're gonna call it Feet Findom. It's just gonna be my foot with a face on the bottom. I'm gonna take a permanent marker and put a face on the bottom of my sole. And I'm just gonna yell at people to give me money. Give me money, you little slut.
Give me my $99 or $9.99.
But don't give me a $10.99. All right. Real Housewives of Potomac. This is gonna be a double episode because last week into this week, but honestly works out perfectly the way that this is about to go down. So all the girls go down to Mexico for Ashley's birthday, which you said what?
I said Mexico, yes.
Mexico, which was insane to me because, like, again,
everybody hates each other and we're not friends.
Right. And I do appreciate Candace's honesty at the table later in the second episode. So as they're getting ready to go to Mexico, Giselle and Robin are talking shit about Karen's event, like, and they're talking about how they want to, how the whole plan is for Mexico to basically get Karen, because Giselle's just so worried. You know, she really wants to, we were all friends and I really want to bring them together, and like, girl.
Such bullshit. She don't care.
Because Charisse been sitting on the side.
them together. Bring them together. She's like, all right.
Right. And we get Juan and Robin talking about the wedding plans.
Tragic.
But they need to be talking about this little case. That's what they need to be talking about.
I know.
And then Mia is annoyed with Jackie for not letting her kids come over. So apparently Jackie's sister is Mia's babysitter. And Mia's usually like, yeah, the kids can come over. But this one time it bothered Mia. And that is what's catapulting their
disagreement,
their divorce. So those things happen, and then all of a sudden the girls get to Mexico, and we get Giselle in the flight, where Mia and Jackie get into it over the kids, and now Mia's trashing Jackie as to this is why she has no friends. But like, ma'am, who are your friends? Because this was the only one that we were aware of.
For sure.
And aren't you using her sister? And this episode, I gotta say though, and maybe that was the whole plan for Jackie, to make Jackie have a redeeming quality, because not that she didn't, I just didn't care about her literally up until this episode.
I 100% agree.
And now I feel bad for Jackie, and I'm like, I really hope you see your friend, because you are the Heather to her Jen. Giselle's outfit. I don't know why I wrote that. I can imagine what it looked like.
Interesting outfits the whole time, but she always does.
Oh, that's what it was. It was funny. It was the white with the pants. I wrote Giselle's outfit looking like Robin's stud.
I was gonna say, I feel that Giselle is giving even more
this whole season, right?
This whole season, but it's like mad strong all of a sudden, and I'm like, is that just because usually it's Robin, but now it's definitely Giselle.
But my thing is, I don't know with Giselle. I'm wondering if it's age.
Yes,
because she low key like. I hope my therapist don't watch this, but like she low key reminds me of my therapist. Like she don't be giving two damns what anyone thinks at the age she's at, and she just be, because I thought my was a lesbian, she ain't, but just the way she was dressing, and look at me, just out here judging. I shouldn't. So I think like she was like, I'm in Mexico, I'm on a plane, I'm just gonna wear these baggy jeans and like, but girl, it was given like you was trying to show up for Robin because of Wendy. Mia says her and Jackie fight all the time and brings up in 11th grade that Jackie threw a brick at her. Jackie says that she needs more dick from the tension, and Mia says, you would know, you're feeling yourself too much, keep your legs closed to married men.
And it all goes
and
around.
I genuinely believe Mia does not understand what Jackie thought in that moment, and what Jackie thought in that moment is exactly what I thought. Like, girl, the only married man anyone has been talking about with these cameras here is your husband, and now you're alluding to that. And you see Mia kind of backtrack in her head like, I mean, I didn't say that many. And it's because then you realize you messed up.
Yeah.
And so then you just outed all her business.
Yes.
On camera, and now your friend is mad at you because it's like, girl, what? I thought like you're telling all of our stuff, and then now you slept with Peter's girlfriend before it was Peter's girlfriend. Like, it was just a lot of stuff going on.
Mia is like a train wreck that is trying to make herself even more of a train wreck because she needs the camera attention really badly, and it's making me uncomfortable. And looking at her and that top lip that has been reinflated like 800 times is also making me very uncomfortable. And
what also bothered me was I thought it was interesting, Jackie saying you sold your soul to the devil. She said that twice. And then she said, I would never sleep with your husband. And Giselle and Robin were like, girl, she never said that. Yet she insinuated it. If she's saying keep your legs open, closed to married men, you're insinuating to these girls sitting around us that I slept with your husband. Because they don't know the other men that I've had sex with in my life. So what? Crazy.
But I also kind of feel like the Giselles and Robins and even like all the reactions of like Candace and everybody when they started fighting, I think those are sincerely like, oh shit, where the hell did this come from? We ain't
Oh,
talk about that energy on it. Like, oh,
no,
this is
and
going.
then that is true, because then she said, "You know what? We're gonna table this," and it's like, Giselle, not you brought this up, and now
Yes,
you
it
talking
was.
about let's
I
table it.
think we're gonna go here. Like, how did we get here?
No, I know, and I loved Candace's reaction when Jackie first got upset, and Candace was like, "No, no, no, no!" Like she really like, because Candace don't fuck with Mia, but like for Candace to genuinely care,
Yeah.
like I don't know, I just thought that was interesting too. Also showing her character. Karen gets a shaman, which girl.
Everybody gets a shaman. That's
It's
a
a
housewife.
Housewives thing, yeah. It's like always season 3 or 4. And I feel like they wanted to edit this like White Lotus, and it's like no one on the show gives that other than Karen. I could see Karen in White Lotus. Actually, I could see Charisse in White Lotus sitting with what's her name, just drunk. The two of them just drunk, and she'd be like, "Oh, Charisse, the gays are trying to kill me.
Oh my god!
Charisse, the gays."
What are they saying?
And then we get at the dinner or lunch. Who knows what the fuck they're eating? They're always sitting at a fucking table. And it was Karen versus Charisse, and Karen snapped right on up and smashed that table down and says, "You didn't call during my divorce," or Charisse said, "You didn't call during my divorce or when I lost my father." And then Karen switched it around because Charisse said, "I showed up for your mother." And then Karen switched that into, "Don't you ever talk about my mother." Like, girl.
Keep my mother's name out your mouth.
Now, look, this was all messy, Karen, and I will 100% say that. But, girl, like, you've been chilling on the sides all season. It's your time. You know what's coming. So I'm going to need you to give a little more than what you did.
Yes.
Because there were elements to this where I feel like others were in the wrong, but I'm not saying anything. You can talk about what you want to talk. Girl, address it, dead it, and walk away.
Done. So fake dramatic and just not even a good. And you look crazy, especially in that confessional where she's wearing the Judy Jetson dress.
Oh my
with the
God.
sparkles and and then the ponytails, and it's too much. And she's like, "These bitches is crazy." It's like, you're looking real crazy right now, sis.
Right, but also Giselle calling it a geriatric fight, and it's like, aren't you the same age? But okay.
She's not. Karen's got her by almost 10 years.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough.
There's
Karen snaps over Charisse bringing her mom up and felt it wasn't genuine. Her showing up to the funeral and felt it was self-serving. And it probably was both. It could have been genuine and a little bit self-serving, and not self-serving in like, oh, if I do this, she'll something, but more like, dang, like, I don't really even love this bitch like that, but her mom died. Like, I feel bad if I didn't go. Like, let me just go. Like, let me show up. Like, I feel like it was that. Like, did she want to be there? Like, probably not. But like, you know, it's like, it's like a Candace thing. In the end, Charisse does have that, like, girl, I'm going to show up for you. I'm going to do it. Even though I can't stand your ass or whatever, like, I do have a love for you. And I feel like Candace has that to herself, too. Charisse acts up. Oh, I said Charisse acts up, and Bravo gives her a whole glam squad for her confessionals, because where was this look all season? In her confessional with that wig.
She's doing, I will say though, this trip she looks better than she has this season. She looks like her eyes are open, and
she also brought up Karen was in rehab a few years ago. And I don't believe that, because I feel like we would have known that personally, right?
I mean, I don't think we would have necessarily known it.
A few years ago? Potomac's been on for what, 5-6
I
years?
was saying it happened before the show.
Okay.
And she knows about it because she knows friends of Karen, not because she was cool with Karen.
And then that led to Karen saying she can't go to Safeway. Which, all right, girl.
It was the worst stupid fight ever, but like it was whatever. But I don't know. Karen, you think she had a drinking problem maybe?
I don't know. Here's my thing with the whole Karen and Charisse situation, because like later when they get into the argument, Giselle, the second time, Giselle was like, I didn't like what happened between Karen and Charisse. I feel Charisse's character was assassinated. Ma'am, assassinated? Like, what show are we on? Please stop it. Like, you are here caring about anybody's character and assassination. You wanted a moment to bring Karen to reality because she's been in her bubble all season, and this was your moment to do that. You wanted it. That's what you wanted. You didn't care about anyone's assassination of character, because then you literally, in that same breath, allowed Charisse to say that Karen was a drunk, sleeping with all these men, doing all these things. But then Giselle says that Charisse is the queen of Potomac, knowing that that is just like the final straw under Karen's.
Will drive Karen up the wall
bonkers.
And up her seat, because of course she is the queen. It's so funny that like that is what, you know, sets her on fire. Like, girl.
Or even like, and then Robin jumped in right after that and was like, ma'am, Robin, she is the queen. Robin, sit down, because we still really haven't addressed your issues with Wendy, because they were still there just because you had the drunk little moment or whatever. We still haven't addressed your issues. Okay, girl, so just sit down. Like, I can't.
Because Robin normally, like, that would be like good, like bring Karen down to earth. But Robin has spent this whole season becoming the most unlikable Potomac creature, or person. So
yeah. And like Robin was like, I see, I'm starting to see through your bullshit, Karen. Girl, the whole table is bullshit. The whole table is the toilet, girl, and you're all sitting in it. So like, you point her shit out, worry about your shit.
But we've also known Karen's been like a bullshitter since day one.
But
that's
the funny part about her.
She snuck out of Potomac, like, and they couldn't find her house. Like that's funny, and that's her character.
Right, when she did she filmed the Potomac video, but it wasn't even in Potomac where they filmed it or whatever. Like, yes.
Like, she's clearly a mildly delusional but entertaining woman.
They went and did this Jungle River thing, which it looked like this thing I did in Puerto Rico. And I asked the same question Mia did. Are there parasites in here? Because you need to know. You need to know if there are or not. And that one looked like a lot of people in it. And
it didn't even have to be no parasites. The mosquitoes alone are too much. Peace out. Won't catch me there.
When they get to lunch that time, where Giselle and all them did that, another fight that had happened was Ashley. I just want to ask everyone, like, with the, the river and the shaman, like, is everyone in a good space? No, girl, what?
Of course not.
Are you? And then I think it was Karen that brought it up, trying to divert the conversation, was like, how are you and Candace? And I genuinely liked the conversation Candace had with Ashley. And I say Candace had with Ashley because I feel like it was the first time Ashley sat and was receptive, because everything Candace was saying was the truth, was like legit. And then for Ashley to bring up, like, you're still bothered from, what was it, the Monique thing? Like,
well, yeah, because Candace talked smack about her losing a baby.
Right.
So I think that it was good too, because I think that it was the first time they both were facing head on how dark some of the shit they have done to each other is.
Right.
And that they're both full of shit. And I like that Wendy was like, but you guys, when we're together, like, we have a great time. But the only way we can, like, keep doing that is if you actually, like, apologize and leave it here. Like, stop thinking it's fine and then coming back to the same shit again.
Yep. And then another thing that we got there was then Robin talking about the wedding. And I'm just like, girl, just give it up. Give it up. Just don't even get married. You don't want to. I feel like you're only doing it because of the show. And now you're going to get married the day after your brother-in-law gets married. Like, it's just giving, like, don't.
And I feel like that, do you think that, like, because when did they film this? This had to be, like, summer, right? Last summer, late summer?
Last summer, yeah.
So, and she was headed in 2 months to her brother's wedding, and we've heard nothing about them getting married. So clearly they didn't get married, right?
Well, or she's just not running around showing a ring, or...
But I feel like if it was legally married, they would eventually have to file paperwork within 30 days of, like, the ceremony. So...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That would be public record. And there's no way somebody wouldn't have, with all that's going on, especially with his new, like, the news of him, ever, like, I feel like that would be out too.
Mm-hmm.
So either way, I don't know, but it ain't looking like it from this point of view, but maybe.
Not at all. All right. And then the final argument was Mia and Wendy, which I'm proud of Wendy for using your voice and not jumping to the level, because I know you wanted to, and instead just explaining it in like, the fact that you had to explain it is crazy. But I know not only Mia needed to hear it, but Giselle, Robin needed to also, like, understand what really happened, because now Mia's talking. The way Mia's just the nastiest type of person. The way Mia listened to that conversation, then tried to fake apologize to not even really to Wendy, but then tried to flip after saying she was sorry for throwing the glass, then tried to flip it on Wendy that Wendy was trying to come for gay people. Like,
yes, it was disgusting.
What?
So disgusting. Manipulative and gross, because whatever, girl. Like, right. It's things. It's like, that's why I'm glad that Wendy's energy was just like, girl, this don't make no sense. This is this, that. But if you don't want to feel that, then that's on you. You just a hater. Like, because it doesn't deserve her getting out of pocket and jumping up, even raising her voice, because Mia is clearly touched in the head. And that whole thing is bullshit that she is spinning in her own brain for the sake of staying mad. So, as we say, bitch, stay mad, because I'm good.
Period. And obviously it's something going on at that house, girl. Over here pretending like you're married or whatever, you are happily married or whatever. And, you know, G's probably a nice guy.
He seems like a fun guy. Like, he seems like a really fun, nice guy.
But maybe G's Lisa. And you're Lenny, girl.
Damn, not G's Lisa.
I'm just trying to figure it out, trying to put the pieces together, because Potomac got a lot of missing holes and pieces.
They got some holes, like, and I think the show would be better if they would just, like, open up the holes and be honest about what's really going on and stop trying to make a show and just be the show.
Right, because at this point, whatever is happening off camera is affecting the girls. And I mean, if we're gonna be messy, like, girl, just rip it up.
Yeah, tell us what's really going on. Like, did G at some point mess with your best friend and it got a little awkward for a little while, and that's why, but you the one that ended up married to him?
Oh.
And so that's why.
Yeah, because you know what, actually, when they kept replaying that one clip where she was like, you know, the car's in my name, but gee, did you help me, like, with the down payment because you love me? And then the way him and Mia were like, well, I don't love you, it's because of Mia. Like, okay, like what? Why are we being like, that's being, I don't know. That scene was different to me after watching this episode. I feel like
it's definitely giving like that maybe they both were messing around with G, and then it got serious for Mia, and Mia is the one that ended up with the money prize.
Right.
So she feels some obligation to her friend, but also some twinge of concern because she don't want her friend messing with her husband because the husband is the money and she's good now. And I don't know.
Also forget that part. I mean, we know she feels like that based off, like, I know her and her mom took me in as a child and gave me everything, but like, does that mean I'm like indebted to you forever? Like, girl, I don't know.
Weird.
Look, there are friends and there are family friends.
Got it on the reality show, and like we wouldn't have to pretend to try to like play fucking Clue with their lives, and then it might actually be a more interesting show.
And then we would maybe want Jackie on the cast, and then now you have a genuine friend on there that solidifies you for at least another season or two, because now you are centered around, a full storyline. But I don't want this like call her daddy like questionable storyline for the next 2 seasons. Like, I don't want that. I want this done.
Like sprinkling your wild sexcapades, but then being bothered when people are talking about them, because technically that doesn't exist anymore. Like, does it exist? Does it not exist? Like, just be who you are, sis. Stop. All this roller coaster shit is annoying.
Man.
Pick who you are.
Mm-hmm. And then, that was pretty much it. And then that's it. And so that's all. But on Thursday we will do Miami, because that's basically all we got. And we're gonna do hot topics. Terriel's got some stories, and I'm gonna be talking. I already told you guys, we talking about some TikTok stuff because these people was trying it with me, and we're gonna have a conversation about straight people in gay clubs, and then we're gonna talk about a Mandela effect, because some of y'all are crazy, and I physically have proof of how crazy some of you guys are, because I went into my childhood, I found a book, and I disproved a conspiracy theorist on TikTok this week. Gas stoves have been controversial. We're going to talk about some of that. And girl, there's another TikToker going against all these people who are spiritualists on TikTok, and like a girl offed herself because she was so into that world. Like, I'm like, nah, I'm just coming across this. Like, oh, might be not what this is like happening to one of my followers. It was crazy. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about on Thursday. So make sure you guys tune in, same time, same place. You already know. Courtney, where can everyone follow you?
I'm all over the social media universe at Stuart Starlet.
Boom. You guys can hit me up everywhere at DJ Jesse J. Hit us up at Next Mood Swing across all social media platforms. And until Thursday, peace.